Yo, dude, that was the greatest mouth movement ever.
Welcome back to another fun episode, ladies and gentlemen, of BW Flix, the average movie critics. I am your host, James J. Train Martin. This is my co-host, Brian Arndt, and we are glad to be back celebrating the month of May. We are celebrating our fallen veterans for Memorial Day, which is coming up on the 25th, this coming Monday. And we have been celebrating all month by giving you reviews of military movies, legal movies. Previously, we did Presumed Innocent. We also did The Messenger recently, which is one of my favorite movies. And today, we're going to keep it military, but we're not going to go any law movie. We're going to, well, sort of. We did go law, but combination law, military. We are going to be reviewing both the Rules of Engagement and The Predator, both year 2000 and 1987, respectively. These are two of my favorite movies. I can watch them over and over again. And if you have not seen them, too bad for you, because I'm going to give you, as we always do, we give spoilers. So if you don't want to watch the episode with spoilers, please don't watch this show. But we always give spoilers, and we love engaging and talking with the crowd about the movies, and we love talking about the movies, even if they're bad as all get out. But it's just our fun thing to do. Both Brian and I have loved talking about movies. So without further ado, let's get started. We're going to start with Rules of Engagement. B, why don't you give us some superlatives on that movie, and we'll get started.
Okay, Rules of Engagement came out in 2000. It was directed by William Friedkin. And it is starring Tommy Lee Jones as Colonel Hayes Hodges, Samuel L. Jackson as Colonel Terry L. Childers, Guy Pearce as Major Mark Biggs, Bruce Greenwood as Bill Sokol, Blair Underwood as Captain Lee, Philip Baker Hall as General H. Hodges, Lawrence Hodges, which is his father, Tommy Lee's father, and Nicky Katt as Hayes Lawrence Hodges III, which is Tommy Lee's son. Ben Kingsley is Ambassador Moran. I'm having a problem with names today. But anyway, yes, so those are the guys those are the peoples in the cast. The music was by Mark Isham. It's distributed by Paramount Pictures in the United States, Buena Vista International abroad. The release date was April 7th, 2000. By the way, the production companies were Scott Rudin Productions, which is no longer in existence, Seven Arts Pictures, and the Zanuck Company. Running time is 127 minutes. The budget was $60 million, and it just went over slightly. The box office is $71.7 million. So, yeah, that's
a bit of a bust.
Not good. Yeah, a bit of a bust.
Speaking of which, can you repeat the name of the guy who did the music for me?
The guy that did the music was Mark Isham.
Mark Isham with the Rules of Engagement Jizzams.
Yes. Jazz. Yes. He's a very jazz and electronic. He's a trumpeter and a keyboardist. He works in a variety of genres, including jazz and electronic. So he's also acclaimed composer of film scores and has done over 200 film and television productions since his debut in 1983.
Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of trumpet sound, the taps, if you want to hear a little bit of that. I could do a little trumpet sound in honor of Mr. I'm about to say Izam, or whatever his name is. That's enough. So do we want to give out the synopsis first, or do you want to go ahead and start a video? I think our premise is to do a video first, right?
Yeah, we can do the video first. We can do the video.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give them a video. Tell them exactly what it is, and we'll go ahead and check it out.
All right, so this whole premise of this movie is about Samuel L. Jackson as Colonel Terry L. Childers. Colonel Terry L. Childers. He goes to what is it? Where is it at? In
Middle East.
Middle
He's in the
East somewhere. Yeah, in the Middle East somewhere. And his orders is to get the ambassador and the aides and everybody else out of there safely, because the Middle Eastern folks are not happy about American presence in their area. So they are being very radically, I would say, trying to attack. But anyway, Samuel L. Jackson, his character, he orders the crowd is getting violent, so he orders he orders people to get shot. Anyway, he's in court trying to defend him. Tommy Lee Jones, who was in the Vietnam with him, is defending him, and they have Samuel L. Jackson on his seat trying to question him about the whole scenario. So he gives an order, and the whole thing is, this is what his take is on his side of what he saw during his his battle movement here. So bear with me a minute.
Training
a moment later, your men were shooting. What did you say to make that happen?
I don't know.
You must have said something. Captain Lee reversed himself. What did you say?
I don't know the exact words.
Let me help you.
Your Honor.
You said waste the motherfuckers, didn't you?
No.
You didn't say it?
Well, it all happened so fast.
You're under oath, Colonel. Let me refresh your memory. This is Exhibit Q, a tape recording made aboard the USS Wake Island of all radio communications received that day, including your exact words. Your Honor, with your permission, I would like to play this tape.
Well, if you got it on tape, then that's what I said. They were killing my Marines, so yeah, I said it. Waste the motherfuckers.
Are these the motherfuckers?
Objection. Overruled.
Yes.
These?
Objection.
Yes.
These?
Objection. Overruled.
Yes.
Are these the motherfuckers that you ordered to be wasted?
Your Honor. Major.
Yes!
Your Honor.
The crowd in front of the embassy had no weapons, did they, Colonel?
Objection. We found no sniper's weapons either.
Yes, they had weapons. You think there's a script for fighting a war without pissing somebody off? Follow the rules and nobody gets hurt? Yes, innocent people probably died. Innocent people always die. But I did not exceed my order.
There are rules, and Marines are sworn to uphold them.
I was not going to stand by and see another Marine die just to live by those fucking rules.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
Boy, typical Samuel Jackson, boy. Rare form when he gets riled up. He probably, when they said cut, he probably was still riled up. I can only imagine. Everybody just walking back, walking away from me. Sam, you okay?
Samuel mother effing Jackson. That's what you
yes, pretty much.
He loves that word. He loves
Samuel
that word.
Waste the MF Jackson. I love when they have him on What's Up With That on SNL. He had said a couple of things. They had to stop him.
Right. Hold on.
Oh, we're gonna get cut off there now.
Right. We're not on cable. We're on FCC TV.
That's what they were saying. Pretty much FCC. It was like, okay, they got rules. All right. So just as a brief synopsis of the movie, I know B kind of alluded to what the movie was about. There was a memory in the beginning of the movie when they were in Vietnam. Both at the time, Lieutenant Hodges and Lieutenant Childers were both. They flipped the coin to see which team would go one way and the other team would go the other way. Okay, so Hodges went one way. His team came under heavy fire, and most of his team was killed, and he got shot too. He got shot first, actually. He hit the deck, and he still lived. And Samuel Jackson, he and his crew caught two leaders of the Vietnamese forces, and one was Colonel Ben Cao, and he was forcing him at gunpoint to make sure that he actually call off his forces so they can salvage and protect the rest of their team, and they wouldn't do it. So he warned him, and he shot one guy, the second in command, and threatened to do the same to him. And finally, he relented, and they were able to save at the time, Lieutenant Hodges' life. And Lieutenant Hodges, and of course, ultimately had to leave that part of his life. He couldn't go out into the field anymore, but yet he became a lawyer, an attorney in the law in JAG, and Childers, they both became colonels. Childers became a colonel, but he still led forces into battle. And this is what ultimately where they end up meeting each other again by Childers, as you mentioned, he did some things that was unbecoming of a Marine, calling the order to kill, presumably, or uh, being charged with killing multiple 83 people, women and children, without I guess what was the word? Not without without cause. Meaning
Mhm.
he believed that they had weapons, and there were no. The evidence showed that they had no weapons. And so throughout the whole movie, we're going back and forth. He goes to his buddy, asking to represent him, and he does end up representing him. And of course, it was a very difficult trial to prove because as we go through here, there is with the place where it happened, there's evidence, there's security cameras pointing down at the crowd that shows if they have weapons or not. Now, mind you, all the things that they had for evidence got sent back to national security, and national security got all that evidence and supposedly supposed to send it to the prosecutor. Minus one thing. Everything got sent there except the tape, the videotape. It just miraculously or mysteriously disappeared. And that's the thing that, and I'm giving a spoiler here, it's the one thing that would exonerate Colonel Childers because it does prove that women and children were holding guns and they were firing upon the soldiers that were above them. So it wasn't just a peaceful protest in the movie, but as you know, in life, uh, things are made to look differently in the media. If certain things want to be shown a certain way, they're going to do that. So the guns were taken away. By the time they got to the guns, to the bodies in there, the guns were gone. But it was a day later. It was a day later by the time they got to them. So the guns were there, but the guns had been taken by that time. And so there was no proof that would give uh, Colonel Hodges any evidence to help his case. Excuse me, to help the case for to defend. Excuse me. Wow, probably need a little water. Colonel Childers, but ultimately, this is Colonel Hodges was considered a mediocre, to his own admittance, a mediocre lawyer, and he even said that you might want to get a better lawyer. But this brought the best out of him. This brought the best out of him, and if the case that he held, I wouldn't have thought he was a mediocre lawyer because he stood his ground and he went toe to toe with the prosecution.
Mhm.
And ultimately, without the tape, they end up getting him off 2 counts out of 3. The one he was guilty of was the one failure to the breach of peace, a failure to well, actually, he was guilty of breach of peace, but the one
Mhm.
of murder and the one of uh, conduct becoming of a soldier, he was not guilty, and so he was able to retire, honorably discharged, and both the ambassador Moraine and the national security advisor, one had to step down. They both had to step down from the positions, and one was guilty of perjury. So here we are. Here we are with this movie. The first question is the direction of the movie. Um, how was the direction of the movie? To me, I think it started out great with reflection, going back and forth with them thinking back to what happened with the incident, what he was on trial for, comparing to what had happened in Vietnam, kind of showing you his character. Character was in question a little bit because of how he was able to do things. It's like the lines of the rules were blurred. It was blurred. He had to kill one guy to save crew. He had to kill, and later on, 30 years later or 20 years later, he had to kill a multitude of women and children to save his crew, but they all had weapons, and so. But again, the lines were blurred. I love the direction of that and how it was kind of masked and hidden a little bit, and how you have to figure it out a little bit. But at the same time, it wasn't masked like I mentioned earlier when we were talking offline. The uh, the truth came out in the middle of the movie when the videotape was actually watched by the national security advisor, but he burned the tape because he didn't want the truth to come out. He didn't want the United States to face flack for anything. He wanted a fall guy, and the fall guy was Colonel Childers. So to ruin a man's life because you wanted a fall guy, you didn't want the truth to come out. And I thought it was a good movie. I thought the direction was pretty good. What did you think of the direction of the movie?
Like I said, it was. I think the whole thing in the beginning of the movie, or when they not the Vietnam thing part, but the part where he went to the Middle
The
East
Middle East.
to go take care of get the ambassador and everyone his family all together and safe. The part where he told Captain Lee to fire upon the crowd, it was kind of weird because you were looking at what was presented to you on the film, so you're like, why would he fire into the crowd when there's people shooting on the you're thinking the same thing, that people that you don't know what's really going on. They kind of take that out of the whole situation. So you're like, so he fires into the crowd instead of firing at the tops where the snipers are at first. I'm like, I think you would want to cover that. And there's a couple, I don't know what was going on with the whole crowd thing. I don't know if he was just trying to suppress the crowd because they were throwing rocks too. Let's make that clear. It wasn't just a gun thing that was found out at the end, but the people were throwing rocks too. They were throwing rocks. They were trying to break glass. They were trying to throw stuff at people. They knocked down the door to the embassy. So they got into the embassy and they had to stop them from trying to infiltrate the embassy, which is kind of hard to do considering how the fortifications were on the embassy. It was just a mess. It was just out of control. And you kind of, this is where it kind of, you're so confused. Well, you're not confused, but there's so many things going on. You don't see what Samuel Jackson sees, obviously, because they kind of put that part to the side until that videotape, like you said, came out. But until that point, you're like, damn, you shot all the people up in the damn crowd. What's going on with you, Sam? Damn. But, as the truth, and you kind of don't want to think that Colonel Childers did that. He had a reason why he did that. So you're trying to kind of look in with the evidence that's barred in there, and then when the whole tape comes to the security director, that dude was a trip. He didn't make a guy take a fall for the United States not looking bad. Well, just like Samuel said in that video, innocent people die. That's just part of war. Is that unfortunately that happens, and people get killed in a line of fire. That's if the people weren't shooting from the crowd, they wouldn't have had no reason to shoot up the crowd. You know what I'm saying? So you got to eliminate the threat. So I thought it was a really good movie. Actually, I did. I think Samuel Jackson played it. That dude is intense. Let me tell you, he's intense. And I also like Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee's good.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Speaking of which, you bring us. We're going into the next segment of this. The question is, how's the chemistry amongst the cast? Is there good character development? I thought the chemistry between Samuel Jackson and Tommy Lee Jones was actually pretty good. But these are both veteran, seasoned actors, and was this their best, like Pulp Fiction best, or Tommy Lee Jones and what he's been in his best? I don't think so. I don't think it was their best, but I thought it was very good. I thought it was very good for what the movie was. And I think they portrayed their characters well. And it seemed like you mentioned, Samuel Jackson kind of portrays this sort of character in almost every movie he plays in. Like he knows how to get riled up. A Time to Kill. When he was in court, he was on the stand. He kind of got riled up just like this. And so I really still liked it though, because you're moved. And he's able to move you with the character. You want to side with the character and believe what he's saying, because he's trying to do everything he can to tell you as to why he did what he did. Not just I'm losing it, like they said the guy snapped or anything after all these years. He did not snap. He was just trying to protect his soldiers, his command. And so I think there was a good cast. I like Ann Archer, her character as the wife of the ambassador. You know they look back at her when he's telling, knowing that's not the truth of what the matter. He totally lying about how he was manhandled when they treated him with fairly, and then he looked back at the wife, and you can tell on her face. Look, her body language is everything, and so that's what I thought was really good by the character of Colonel Hodges and Tommy Lee Jones is how he's portraying to say, look, not don't just look at him, but look at the wife as well to see how she responds to what he's saying. And you can tell there's a little bit of contrast or her response is or contradicted to what he's saying. And so I really like the character development there with those three characters. I thought Guy Pearce did okay. To me, this movie reminds me of it. If I had to make a baby with two movies, I would say two directors or two movie styles. It would be Rob Ryan with A Few Good Men, and also not the director, but the movies themselves, Tom Clancy's movies. It kind of seemed like it's just a mixture of things that from different movies they kind of pulled and put it into one movie here. But like you said, it was a good movie. I liked it. I think like I said, some characters were developed were for the most part most characters were developed. I think they could have brought a little bit more with the national security advisor, considering he was an antagonist. They could have did a little bit more because I think and what probably would happen besides words on the screen, what would happen to them? Him and the ambassador. But what do you think about the chemistry and the character development?
I think the chemistry was great between there's a lot of scenes in this movie too that we haven't really talked about, like the time when Tommy Lee he went to the Middle East to do the investigation himself, and he met the doctor there that was taking care of the patients that were caught up in the whole situation, and it made him believe things. And he got drunk on the plane ride back, and as soon as he got landed, he went to Colonel Childers' house and banged down the door. And they had a little a scuffle, him and they were fighting in there because he thought that he was lying to him. He said, "What you got me into?" and all that stuff. And they started fighting each other. Now, remember, Colonel Hodges was drunk. So that's a little bit part of it as well. But it's things like that. What's going on, Rob? It's things like that made that movie and you could tell. I really think they really did have a very good chemistry in that movie. They really did. I mean, they acted like they were war buddies. Really, I mean, it convinced you that they were war buddies from way past the whole thing where he was given the sword because he was retiring, Colonel Hodges, at the party and stuff like that. All that stuff, and then it was like he showed up. Childers showed up and was like, "Hey, that's my guy. Yeah, what's going on?" No, we're not on Predator yet. We're just about done here, but we're getting to the Predator in just a minute. Yeah, so I think the movie was really good. I'm with you. It kind of gave me A Few Good Men moments, especially the Homer, like the fact when Jack Nicklaus he says, you can't handle the truth. It's kind of like the same thing that Samuel Jackson got up and said. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Right.
There's no such thing as rules of engagement. When you're out there doing the field work, fuck the rules of engagement. That's basically what he said. So,
Right. Exactly. Well, I mean, I agree with you there. I like the part of Tommy Lee Jones because you can see there's insecurity there. How he even mentioned when he's at his retirement party, somebody who can win a few more cases. I mean, or not lose any more cases or something like that. And it kind of alludes to him not being a really good lawyer. He's probably kind of mediocre, and also he goes and he wants to defend his buddy. He goes and looks at the monument, the Vietnam monument, where he sees all the guys that died. So all that's revving him up, and he's getting like amped up to to defend his buddy. And you can see steadily as he's working hard, he's working diligently. Like you say, he goes back to the Middle East, gets evidence, and he endures. I mean, like you say, he does. He gets those tapes. He knows those tapes what they are. A lot of things kind of make sense. And like you say, he got drunk and he saw the bodies of the children. That's the emotional aspect of it. But at the same time, the evidence is what kind of leaning more towards coming back to reality and saying, okay, this is it's likely some things happen. And of course, there's that missing tape. Why would the tape be missing? Everything should have got going to its proper channels and got to where they are. Everything except the tape. Everything except the tape. That doesn't make any sense. That's not logical. And so, yes, I enjoy the characters. I thought he was brilliant when he defended and made the case towards him being not guilty. And of course, it worked because they didn't have a tape, and it still worked. This movie. My question to you. Let's see here. Where is that? I do have a question about that. Where is it? Oh yeah. Was the movie believable and moving? For me, to some degree, it was very difficult to believe without the video evidence. I loved. I mean, I did. I mean, I know I'm contradicting myself. I say I liked it. The fact that he was able to do that, but in reality, would you be able to get somebody off like that without having concrete evidence, considering how damning, how serious the nature of the charges were? And that's why I was like, okay, is this movie believable in that regard? He did some other things he got those tapes, those audio tapes, but it's kind of circumstantial evidence. He could have found those tapes. It doesn't mean he was actually believing in that, what was on it, the Shihad stuff. And also, how did they figure out the National Security Advisor hid the evidence? And so, because they said at the end he had to step down because of that. And of course, the ambassador perjured. But how was it found out to be true that he perjured? Did the wife finally come out and say something about it? I don't know. I mean, it's just those are the question marks that we had. It seemed like they didn't have enough time to finish these things off, and they put it up in the words of the movie. It feels good like that, but at the same time, the logical part of me was like, did they really figure that out? How did they figure it out? And now it's left for interpretation. And so that's the kind of part I didn't think was believable enough, but I thought the whole movie itself was believable enough to like it and to watch it again. It's just I think that small part for me at the end was kind of like, okay, it's kind of tough to believe that.
It's kind of like the fairy tale ending.
Yes, exactly. It was more of a fairy tale ending. And so for me, with this said, I'll let you make your point in. I gave this 3 buckets of popcorn.
Okay. 3 buckets of popcorn. It is dancing popcorn.
Samuel Jackson should be dancing right with him because he got off.
I'm also going to give it 3 buckets of popcorn because you're right at the end. Everything, I guess to not further out the movie because it's really irrelevant. It's really about if he got off or not. I think they could get him off based on the evidence that they had in hand and the fact that there was a couple of things. Tommy Lee Jones, Colonel Hodges did a very good job in a couple of areas. If you watch the movie closely, there's one incident with the tape, for instance. He basically caught a lot of people lying because they said that was part of the inventory that came into the United States into the security thing was a tape. It says a tape on the inventory. But when they say, well, we didn't get that, when they had the security director on there, he said, no, we didn't get that. But dude, it's on the inventory. So what happened between the time that it went from there to wherever it needed to go to be processed?
So what he said everything to the prosecution, and that's when the major Biggs looked up like, that's not true.
Yeah,
he looked up. He gave him a look like, okay,
they got caught in their own trap. Basically,
yeah.
He caught them in their own lies. Basically, so and that's and I can understand where that probably would have came up at the end, and he had to step down because of that, hiding the evidence and stuff like that. Somebody was putting 2 and 2 together. And said, hold on a minute. Wait a minute. And then probably somebody squealed on him too. You know how politics are in Washington. They probably say, yeah, I saw him have that tape. That dude had that tape. You know, his aide.
The one guy that was with him, the aide, yeah.
Yeah, the aide.
Yeah.
And then
But like I said, it was left for interpretation, right?
Yeah, it was left to it. Yeah, it was. It was left into interpretation. But yeah, I'm also giving it 3 as well, because it was a really good movie.
It's worth another watch. I like it. I mean, it was
Yeah.
good enough. If you like military movies, you like law movies, it's a good combination.
Yeah.
All right.
It was kind of like the, Few Good Men thing. Just
Yes.
not as intense, but
And not as good as that movie, but
Yeah.
good enough. Good enough. Well, B, let's on to our next movie. Yinzer was looking forward to us talking about The Predator, 1987. Why don't you give us some superlatives on that?
All right. Yes, 1987 was the film. John McTiernan was the director. It was starring Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dutch. Elpidia Carrillo. I really gotta get on to these names. As Anna Gonsalves, she was the one that got captured. Carl Weathers as Al Dillon. Richard Chavez as Pancho Ramirez, Sonny Ladman as Billy Soul, Bill Duke as Mac Elliott, Jesse Ventura as Blaine Cooper, Shane Black as Rick Hawkins, R.G. Armstrong as General Homer Phillips, and Kevin Peter Hall, or Peter Cullen, is the voice of the Predator. And just a superlative on that, he was picked because this dude was 7'2". And the original person they were picking for it, like we discussed a while back, was Jean-Claude Van Damme, but he was only 5'9". And considering the rest of the cast was over 6 feet tall, it was kind of hard to be, on that same level with the big guys.
Let's just say it worked out. It worked out well for everybody.
It worked out well for it. And let me tell you something, Kevin Peter Hall, this is not his first rodeo. He also did the Sasquatch in Harry and the Hendersons.
That's right. And the first time I saw, if for anybody who doesn't know 80s trivia, there was a show called Misfits of Science. It was short-lived. It was a 1-season, one-off, and everybody, it was different characters. He played the character he was a scientist, and he can shrink to the size of a small person. But he was 7'2".
Oh,
so
yeah.
I love that show, Misfits of Science, as a kid. But
yeah,
I'll have to go see if I can find that. But yeah. Cool, man. And
then,
what did this movie do at the box office?
Well, the music was by our good pal Alan Silvestri. He's done a lot of movie soundtracks as well. Production companies were 20th Century Fox, Davis Entertainment. It was distributed by 20th Century Fox. Release date was June 12, 1987. Running time was 107 minutes. Budget $15 to $18 million. Box office smashed $98.3 million. I'm sure it's still making money because you've seen it so many times on streaming. Wow.
And it's got subsequent sequels too, as well.
Yep, exactly. Scared the actor who played Billy.
Oh, that's Sonny Landham. Yeah, everybody. It wasn't just the director. Yinzer, everybody was scared of him. They didn't know he was unpredictable. They didn't know how he would act. Sonny was a little volatile in real life. So
yeah,
he was a little volatile. But I loved his character. I loved him, and he was also Billy the Indian on. He was on Action Jackson, and he was on 48 Hours. He played Billy the Indian on 48 Hours. So yeah. But he played that character well, man. Maybe that's who he was in real life. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people, you're right. The director and other people were like, even Arnold, they had to watch him because he was a little volatile. But that being said, let's before we get a synopsis, let's go ahead and show our video, man.
Well, let's do this. Let's do.
Oh, you want me to give the synopsis?
Yeah, because you know what, it kind of didn't work the first time because I kind of had to tell the thing before you did your synopsis. I think it'd be better because the film will go after your synopsis. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's give a synopsis first, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's a band of mercenaries led by Dutch, the major, and they're recruited to go on a rescue mission to rescue a cabinet minister in Central America. Um, After a helicopter it was shot down, Dutch, under his leadership, he takes the mercenaries plus a CIA operative by the name of Al Dillon to go in and rescue those guys. They end up fighting a bunch of gorillas, not the ones in the mist. We're actually talking about gorillas in in Central America. Guerrillas. Although the hostages were killed, the truth ends up coming out that they weren't cabinet ministers; they were CIA operatives. So they found out Al had some other stuff going on, and they had some other stuff planned. They were trying to get in there and find out about a mission between the Russians and the guerrillas. And they found out that guys was supposed to come in. Green Berets was supposed to come in and rescue these guys, but they got skinned alive, and which was Jim Hopper and his crew. And afterwards, going forward, one by one, these guys are not getting picked off by gorillas, but they're getting picked off by this strange mystery villain or foe. And they find out it's something different. They try to trap him, and they do. And the rest of the crew gets killed, minus Dutch and Anna, the one name you couldn't pronounce there. And eventually, Dutch is on his way. He's going through a maze and all kind of stuff, like a roller coaster ride, falling in the water, landing in mud, being stealth in the mud. He presents himself in the battle. He goes head to head in a formidable battle against the alien, but eventually the mud comes off. The alien looks at him and say, "Hey, you're formidable. I want to beat you up." He does, and ultimately he crawls into a trap and kills the alien, fatally wounding him with a trap that he had set up over his head with a big log that hits him on the head, mortally wounding him. The alien realizes he's going to die, so he self-destructs a bomb that he has on his arm. Dutch survives. The helicopter comes and picks him up, and the movie ends.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. And this is part of the whole thing where he decided he was going to cover himself with mud, because the mud was the predator.
Dutch, that is, right? Dutch?
Yeah, Dutch. Yeah. Dutch covers himself with mud because he understands that the predator is trying to find him his thermals, and he kind of he falls into the water and he gets muddied up, and then the predator just walks by and doesn't even notice him. He's like, "Wait a minute, how you didn't see me?" Then he realizes he can't see my thermals. That's probably how he's detected me, because of my thermals. This is all coming into his head. So what he does, he covers himself head to toe with mud, and this is a part where he is waiting for the predator to come around to try to get him into a trap or try to kill him. Time. Look at you, Rob. Look at you.
Yes, sir. On it. Thank you, sir.
That's why that's your favorite movie. I can see. But anyway, here's the part that he's covered with mud. there you go. Yeah. Yeah. That's
I
yeah.
almost forgot we were doing a show. I was enjoying the movie.
Yeah, it probably is
Yes.
one of those movies that you could just watch like time and time again, and it doesn't really get old. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those
Like
science fiction movies that are just awesome.
that's okay, man. We're all nerds
Yeah.
here. So
Yeah.
I did not read the comics, Yinzer, but I definitely have watched most of the movies. I have not seen Badlands yet, but I want to see it. It looks like it's pretty good, but you can tell me yay or nay if you like it or not. But this movie is my all-time favorite. I was 13, well, I was 12 years old when it came out, and I saw it at the Dollar Movie. I remember going to a Dollar Movie to see this. My uncle took me to go see this movie, and I was totally and utterly amazed. I just couldn't believe that something like this even existed. And speaking of which, I mean, this movie, man, it moved me then. I can watch it now. I bought it on DVD. I'll watch it every now and then, and it still moves me. It holds up. The movie holds up. The direction of the movie was good. It wasn't slow. It was quick. Everything went like fast. You know the aliens coming. Oh wow. Meaning not good. That must be bad. Yeah, yeah. But you see the aliens coming already. We know what the movie is, the premise of it, but he comes into the Earth's atmosphere, dropping them off. And I just love the fact that he's the predator. If you had to look from the side of the predator, obviously you like the movie from that regard. You don't want to see him live, but you also want to see like the tenacity of the alien. Or you want to, oh, good, cool, cool, cool. You also want to see the technology of the alien. You want to see how he hunts. You want to see how he does things coming from another world, and you want to see how we respond to it. Because I mean, clearly he was dominant, but it wasn't fair either. It wasn't fair because he was able to cloak himself to
Mm-hmm.
match the camouflage himself. But I mean, that's what we do too, right? It was kind of like the predators themselves. They were predators by presenting themselves to kill the gorillas, but they became the prey. They became the prey in the movie. One by one, he was taking them out. They are just more violent. Oh, you mean brutal in that regard? Wow. Yeah, I can imagine the comics are just like that, Yinzer. But the movie to me was great. I thought the character development was good. All the personalities in the movie are totally different. All the characters of the mercenaries, they're all different. One's a jokester, one's a silent type in Mac, one's
Mm-hmm.
a kind of like a not a savant, but a so who has a sixth sense, the tracker, Billy. One's obviously the leader. He always has the knowledge to know what's going on in Dutch. Like, why did she run away? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? Throughout the movie, you say, okay, you can see why he's the leader, the unquestioned leader. Pancho, and then Dylan, the CIA. He's a sneaky one. He's a CIA agent for real. He's hiding things and stuff like that. But then you realize he's his friend as well because he comes back and help. He wants to get even, that kind of thing. He goes after Mac. All in all, man, to me, this is one of the best movies ever to come out. It has a high IMDb rating. I think you didn't mention it, but it was like was it 7.8 or something like that? 7.8. It has 7.8 rating, which is high for a movie. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, what do you think about the direction of the movie?
Oh, this is probably one of the most epic movies of all time. It's one of those ones, like I said, you can sit there and watch it time and time again. It doesn't get old. I think the direction of the movie is so good that if you watch this probably in another 20 years, you would still be excited to see, you still be enticed to see it. I think where it took off from this point too, I like the point that it melded with the Alien series. I like a lot of the Alien versus Predator movies. Well, not a lot of them, but a couple of them that I liked. One with Sanaa Lathan in it, where they go to the Arctic and stuff like that. That's a really good one. But it's melded. You got two of the greatest Alien franchises. You got the Aliens and the Predators, and you got two of them, and you meld them together to make some movies, and that just it works well. I mean, they came out just virtually. Well, Alien was a little bit sooner than Predator, but it all comes from the fact that you could do that. You could actually do that. You can see that happening because They come from a different planet, both of them. And Alien's been around for a long period of time, where the Predators have been around for, Warrior like for a long period of time. They're gonna end up together because it's whoever, the Predators are always looking for challenges. They're like they're looking for the ultimate hunt, and that's what the Aliens were. So I mean, everything just kind of lines up really well, and it started with this series here, with this Predator series. Awesome, just awesome. You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry. It's very awesome. My next question would be, because I know we're short on time here, but because we got to do a bio as well. But my next question is, does this movie hold up? And my answer would be absolutely yes, it holds up, because it spawned, like you mentioned, all those sequels. It spawned comic books. It spawned everything. And look at the special effects in the movie. Clearly, I mean, they had CGI, but it wasn't used like, yes, every character was like, well, I agree. And the music was great as well. The CGI was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was very good for the time it was. You look at it now, obviously it's not the same thing, but they had to use the mandibles. They made those like animatronic, on the character. And the guy wearing a costume, from what I understand, the heat was blistering in that costume. It was unreal. But all the work they did when Blaine was shot through the back and his chest was all cauterized and fused, it was just impressive work. They did a lot of great work. They were, for special effects, they were nominated for an Oscar as well. So it just holds up, like I said, in that regard. It was entertaining. The movie was entertaining, mysterious, scary. Because, I mean, that one scene with Dylan, when he saw him and he started shooting and Alien shot his arm off and the arm was still shooting the gun. And then he turns around and you see the arms like cut off, but it's cauterized because it's not bleeding. And it just, it was creepy. And you see him just running around in that cloak, and he pulls out that blade, a double blade, and picks him up with the blade. Oh, and you hear that screech. It still guts me to this day listening to that scream when he's screaming. His grown man getting gutted, man. And then, of course, Billy throws his gun down and everything else, pulls out the knife. And that part, to me, that's the one part I believe, honestly, I thought was goofy. And I don't like to use the word goofy for everything, but I'm like, but you know me with goofy. But he draws the gun down. He takes a knife out and slices a slice across his chest. And next thing you know, we hear, ah! Like, okay, he dies. Like, you don't even get to see a fight at all. He just gets taken out, just like Dylan. But other than that, to me, the movie is great. It's a 4-star. I'm not going to give it a 5 because there's a couple of things I could take away from it. Small, very minor things like that one thing I just mentioned. But I'm going to give it 4 buckets of popcorn.
I was going to. Whoops. What happened? I'm going to remove somebody. Somebody left. I was going to give it to. Where did he go? Uh-oh. There he goes. There he goes.
Sorry about that.
Whoops.
I don't know what happened.
So I 4 popcorns. That was good. I was going to give it. I was going to give it 5, to tell you the truth.
Well, it's on you. Hey, man, it's your world.
I was going to give it to 5, but you know what? I kind of 5 is, you really got to impress me with 5. And as much as this movie can carry on over the time, I still think that you're right. I'm giving it a 4. I'll probably give it 4 with some butter. That's what I do. I'll give it 4 with some butter.
4 butter, yeah. You know what? And I'll give it butter. I'll give it the extra butter too, because it's good. But I see some things, that were small little things here and there, and it's more of a movie for. It's like one of those TBS movies for guys who like movies. When they first meet, because somebody to accuse you of being the best. That part. Dylan, you son of a. What's the matter, Dylan? CIA got you pushing too many pencils. I mean,
Hey, give him 10 buckets.
It's a great movie, Enzo. I'm not mad at you with your 10 buckets.
Mm-mm.
All right. That being said, it's a great movie, and it's going to kind of parlay into our next segment here is our weekly bio. We usually pick one of the actors of either one of the movies to do a bio here, and a lot of times for me, a lot of people, I look at some of the big name stars. We can talk a lot about the big guys, but a lot of our ladies, if you're out there, a lot of people tend to look forward to that type of name, but I like to give the smaller guys, the guys who are the others, as like Shaq, like to say, yes, exactly. And Bill Duke is our guest, or the bio that we're going to talk about. So Bill Duke, he's born in 1943. He's 83 years old now. But Bill Duke is Mac in Predator, if you remember him as Mac. Long tall Sally. She feels sweet. She got everything. I'm gonna have me some fun. He was born William Henry Duke Jr. Not only an actor, but he was also a director and a producer. As a struggling student early on, Bill had to work many different jobs to try to make ends meet, and he almost considered quitting. But the president of his school that he went to, Dutchess Community College, talked him into staying, and he ended up paying his room, board, and books at Boston University for the next 3 years. He also received an academic scholarship as well. So he initially wanted to be a doctor and going to medical school to please his parents, but he didn't do that. He ended up changing his major to English education, and then to introduction to dance and art. And so after he finished college there, he ended up going to New York and New York University Tisch School of the Arts, where Melvin Van Peebles was in Melvin Van Peebles' Ain't Supposed to Die of Natural Death.
Natural Death. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And he also did school for filmmaking at AFI Conservatory. His first on-screen appearance was in Car Wash, believe it or not. He played the character, the Muslim character, Akbar. Original name was Dwayne.
I remember that. Yeah.
I remember that. Yes, I remember this movie very well. Car Wash is very funny, and he was very serious in his role. But obviously, there was a reason why. You understand why he was that serious person. He had a softer side, and you saw the characters begin to break down and start letting you know who he truly was. But that showed his range as an actor, and he also played a gay pimp in American Gigolo with Richard Gere. So he showed his range, but ultimately he ended up doing a whole bunch of action movies, and he ended up being starting with Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando. He was one of the villains in that movie, and he also portrayed. He did another movie with Arnold, of course, we just mentioned, Predator, as Mac. And to me, Mac, this showed his range. He probably was supposed to be one of the guys that was just the side guys, and Arnold was obviously the star. But Mac stole a lot of scenes in this movie. He stole a lot of scenes. Because you looked at him, he was stoic. That monologue he did when he was over Blaine's body, and he said, "Here we are again, bro, just you and me." I love that when he was talking about that monologue. He said, "Man, we went through everything. In war, we come out with no scratches." He said, "Not a scratch, not an effing scratch." He said, "When I see you again, I'm gonna tell your name into him. Man, I just love that. I loved his roles as a police officer. He played a police chief in Action Jackson in your neck of the woods in Detroit. He also played a bad corrupt cop in Payback and another movie with Mel Gibson. He was also a cop in Menace to Society, which became a meme in 1993, where Kane, he's interrogating Kane, and he said, "You know you effed up, right? You know you effed up." That's a total meme right now. I love seeing that part of the movie. He had a small part of that movie, and he also directed things. He directed some movies, shows. He was accidentally made as a director for I was it Knots Landing, and he did so well that he was able to get more episodes to direct. He did 10 episodes. He did Hoodlum, Sister Act 2, Deep Cover, A Raisin in the Sun. He's married. He didn't have any children, but he's still around, and he's still producing right now, and he's still directing. So shout out to Bill Duke. Wherever you are out there, sir, we commend you for all the great work you've done. You got anything, B?
No, I think Bill Duke really he showed. I think this is where he showed this particular movie. He showed, not even in Car Wash, and people don't really realize him in Car Wash. I mean, me and you do, but to a layman watching a movie, they wouldn't really know him in Car Wash. But in these movies, Commando was one, but this movie particularly right here, there's this whole thing where he's shaving his head. He was a total character in this one, and remember when we showed the intro where Billy was the one that got killed. Yeah, Billy got killed, wasn't it? Yeah, or Jesse? No, Jesse Ventura. He got killed, and he was like, he took the guy. It's like, dude.
And he was the only one that was actually able to shoot him. He was the only one actually able to shoot the alien.
Yeah,
but that.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. With that being said, we're going to mention the two movies that we're going to watch next week, next Tuesday, and it's going to be Private Benjamin and Fury, and that will be the cap of our Memorial Day month. And we thank you all for watching the show with us, and we hope that you would join us again next week, next Tuesday at 8 p.m. And if you like the show, please watch us on YouTube, like, subscribe, and share with your friends. But thank you for coming out tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.